afternoon, everyone, and welcome to episode 47 of MSME Masterclass. Today's topic is Lean Sigma, Six Sigma in manufacturing. To address that, we're excited to welcome Pankaj Pitale, Managing Director of Ceenitheia Solutions LLP. Pankaj brings over 20 years of experience in operations, process management, and team leadership. He has a proven track record of leading teams across various business units, ensuring the effective development of operational activities and achieving optimal profitability. His expertise in managing client relationships, providing tailored solutions, negotiating contracts, and streamlining processes has been pivotal in his career. Pankaj is known for applying Lean Six Sigma principles and adhering to the ISO 9001 standards, driving operational excellence and continuous improvement. Join us as he shares his valuable insights and experiences, offering practical strategies for enhancing operational efficiency and achieving business successes. Welcome to our MSME Masterclass, Pankaj. We're thrilled to have you today with us.
Thank you for having me out here. It's an honor to be able to work with you guys. This is a really awesome thing. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Okay, Pankaj, we'll move on to our first question quickly, which is about what are the key principles of Lean Six Sigma and how do they apply to the manufacturing sector?
Okay, so these are big words and a lot of people get confused with Lean Six Sigma, but these are really very simple things. Okay, Lean Six Sigma combines two different methodologies. One is called Lean, which focuses on reducing the waste and increasing the flow of activities. And then there is Six Sigma, which aims at reducing variation and defects. So in manufacturing, what this means is that we are looking at making a production process as efficient and as error-free as possible. So for example, by minimizing waste, we would like, you can minimize waste like excess materials or minimize the excess time that is spent. And by ensuring that every step in the production process is optimized and consistent, we can actually end up delivering high quality products faster and at a lower cost. So that's really how it works.
And can you share an example of a successful project in manufacturing and its outcomes?
Yeah, certainly. So one example that I can give you is of a client that I was working with. They are kitchen equipment manufacturers. They manufacture equipment for commercial kitchens. So we've noticed a very high rate of defects that were causing delays and extra costs. So defects means rework, and then you have to keep on working on that again, and that is what is bringing the production down. So what we did was we applied the principles of Lean Six Sigma and we identified a few key problem areas, some small things that needed to be changed in the process, in the manufacturing process. And after we made these targeted improvements, we were able to actually change their whole production process. One of the small things that we did was change the spaces of a couple of workstations because the product used to move in a zigzag manner instead of a straight manner. And we managed to drop the defect rate down by about 40% and the production costs fell by about 25%. So it saved them a lot of money. It gave them improved delivery time, but the most important thing was their customers were satisfied and they started getting more and more repeat orders. So that is what we managed to do.
And Pankaj, can you also highlight what methodologies can help reduce waste and improve efficiency in the production processes?
There are a lot of methodologies, but let me tell you some simple ones. Okay, so Lean Six Sigma helps you identify and eliminate 8 different types of wastes that are there in the manufacturing process. There is defects, there is overproduction, there is waiting, there is non-utilized talent, मतलब overstaffing हुआ है. There is transportation that is done, excess transportation. There is inventory excess, and then there is motion waste where the products are moving all over the place where they don't need to be. And then the last one is extra processing, just to be careful. So by systematically reviewing each of these steps and each of these processes, we can pinpoint where the waste occurs, find ways to streamline it, eliminate it, and then get the process in line. So for instance, if the workers are spending too much time walking between the stations, we can reorganize the layout, save time and energy, and make the whole process faster and more efficient. So this is a very simple thing to do, and that's how it works.
Could you also help us understand the most common challenges when implementing these techniques?
Well, they say that there are two things that are true about humanity. Okay, the first thing that everybody says is change is the most certain thing in life. But the second thing that is also true is that resistance to change is even more certain than change. And that's the biggest challenge that is there. The most common challenge is not about, bringing the change about. It's about accepting the fact that there is going to be change. And this happens because there's a lack of understanding or buy-in from the staff and the people in the organization. Also, for MSMEs, limited resources can be an issue. Okay, so a lot of people, we love being in our comfort zone. We are accustomed to our routine, and any change feels like ye kyun karna hai, ye sab kyun karna hai, and this is where the problem is. So this is the most important and the most difficult thing to take over, ensuring that people buy into why you want to get this change. That's the biggest one.
That's absolutely right. How can small manufacturing units begin their journey with limited resources?
Well, too many times in our life and too many times when people are looking for change or for improvement, they say that I'm going to do everything A grade. But let me tell you something. The fun part about life is that version 1 is better than version none. So don't wait for perfection. Start small. Do small things and build it up. If you've ever read Atomic Habits by James Clear, he says that if you want to build a habit, if you want to build a new thing in your life, start with a 2-minute version of it. And that's really what we said. So start very small. Even limited resources, small manufacturing units can focus on one area or one process to improve. So for example, you can conduct a simple waste audit or use basic tools like the 5S methodology, which stands for sort, set in order, shine, standardize, sustain, to organize and optimize your workspace. Okay, small incremental changes can make a big difference over a period of time, and then set the foundation for more extensive Lean Six Sigma practices as the resources allow for your organization.
This leads me to my next question, which is to do with what role does data play in these processes, and how can manufacturers leverage it effectively?
Well, Six Sigma is a data-driven methodology completely. Okay, so data is one of the most important things that we have. Now, what really happens is that a lot of MSMEs don't have a lot of data with them, but that's okay. We can start, like I said in the earlier part, we can start small. Okay, but as manufacturers start doing it, they can start collecting data, basic data on defects, production time, downtime, and then by analyzing this data, we can identify the patterns and the root causes, or where the inefficiencies are, where are the errors that are coming in. And over a period of time, as more and more data is collected and analyzed, it provides a clearer picture of where the changes are needed, how effective those changes have been, what do we need to do, and what can be our next steps to take our organization to the next level.
And how can the Six Sigma principle be integrated within the existing quality management system in manufacturing?
So a lot of people think that, there is Six Sigma and then there is ISO. Technically, they're cousins. They are in the same family. If you look at ISO 9001, the whole fundamental of ISO 9001 is PDCA, Plan, Do, Check, Act. And you have to keep doing it. It's a cycle. It's not a straight line. So you plan to do something, you do it, you check whether it was effective. If it wasn't, you act, and then you plan on the next thing. So this is the fundamental of ISO, which is called continual improvement. You improve, you maintain it, you improve, you maintain it. And the methodology for continual improvement is Lean Six Sigma. So that's really how it works. So they are actually complementing systems that work with each other. Lean Six Sigma is your methodology for continual improvement, which is required by ISO 9001. So they are not two different things. They're cousins. They're in the same family.
Okay. And what are the critical success factors for a project to improve its manufacturing efficiency?
The critical success factors that are there are strong leadership support. Most MSMEs have a very flat organization. It's not very tall. So the leaders are more or less entrenched in the organization. So a strong leadership support is very, very important. Clear goals, clarity is extremely important. Employee involvement, like I said before, one of the biggest challenges is employee बोलता है क्यों करना है. Okay, so employee involvement. Then a focus on data-driven decision making, not because मुझे लगता है, नहीं पहले होता था. One of the surest sign of insanity is to do the same thing again and again and expect a different result. So पहले होता था is one of the worst ways to take a decision. And leadership needs to be fully committed to this process. Everybody needs to know what needs to be done, and then all of this needs to be broken down into day-to-day operations. So that is extremely critical. So I always say that for any project to be successful, there are two things that are extremely critical. One is clarity. What do you need to do? When do you need to do? And more importantly, why do you need to do it? And the second is discipline. The discipline to actually do it. These are the only two things that you require.
Can you share with our attendees the principles to be applied to non-production areas of a manufacturing business? And
that's a very
and if so, how? Sorry.
No, that's a very interesting question because, for some reason, a lot of people think that ISO, Lean, Six Sigma, ये सब manufacturing वाला scene है. मेरे को वो ऊपर ऑफिस में कुछ उसका काम नहीं है, जो कुछ है शॉप फ्लोर पे काम होने वाला है. Let me give you an example of Six Sigma in your daily life. Say you need to go to office and you need to reach office say at 9 a.m. and you start off from your home and you reach office at 9:15 a.m. and you say, "Arey, late ho gaya." Nobody says anything to you. Maybe it's your first day, and you start doing it. And every day you try say, "I'm going to reach home. I'm going to reach office early," but you reach at 9:15. Then someday your boss will come and tell you, "This is not done. You need to be here at 8:45." Suddenly you have a definition that it's not I need to reach early. I need to reach at 8:45. Then you say, if I need to reach at 8:45, I get up at 7 in the morning. And if I get up at 7 in the morning, I reach at 9:15, including I get up, I have a morning ritual. If you're like me, I get up early in the morning and have 20 minutes to drink coffee because I love my coffee. And then I have this whole morning ritual. It takes me 90 minutes to get out of my house. And after that, I need to travel. So all of this factored in, 2 घंटा लगता है before I reach office. 2-2.25 घंटा लगता है before I reach office. So if I need to reach at 8:45, मुझे 2-2.25 घंटा पहले उठना पड़ेगा. Or I can cut down on my morning coffee ritual and drink that coffee in my car. Okay, something like that. So you do that. And then what you do is you actually go and act. You actually do this. And you reach at 8:45 in the morning and everybody's like, "Good job, that was really awesome." Next day you reach again at 9:15. क्यों? क्योंकि सुबह अलार्म ही नहीं बजा. So what you do? नहीं, मैं भी अलार्म लगाऊंगा, मेरे बीवी को भी बोलूंगा अलार्म लगाने को, पुराना एक फोन घर पे पड़ा है उस पे भी अलार्म लगाऊंगा. I will ensure, I will put things in place to control my process and ensure that I never go back to my old one. In effect, what you've done right now is followed the most common problem solving methodology used in Six Sigma, which is called DMAIC, D-M-A-I-C, define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. If you can do this on an everyday basis, and you actually do this on an everyday basis, why do you think that these methodologies cannot be used in non-production areas of manufacturing business? They can be used anywhere. They can be used in your own life if you want to. So these are extremely, extremely important methodologies which you can use in the non-manufacturing parts. You can find inefficiencies, you can fix them regardless of where it is. If it's a process, then you can use these methodologies to this. That's how it works.
Makes so much sense when you relate it to a real life example which is so close to your heart. Moving on to our next question, which is, how do you use these methodologies to address the issue of variability in manufacturing processes?
Okay, so like we said before, Lean and Six Sigma are two different things. One looks at reducing waste and the other one looks at reducing variability. The logic is very simple. The lesser the variation, better the quality, better the consistency of the product. Now, what are the different methodologies that we can do? Like I said, DMAIC, define, measure, analyze, implement, and control. Six Sigma being a primarily data-driven methodology, what we would really love to do in the first place is to understand what is happening with your process. Okay, in manufacturing, variability can lead to a whole lot of defects, inconsistent product quality. So what you need to figure out is analyze the data from each stage of production. And I'm sure even the smallest organization will have data. If it is not in an Excel file, it will be in a register. It will be there. It has to be there. It is always there. If it's a very small unit, it is in somebody's head. It is there. It just needs to be collated down and taken down. Okay. Now, once you have that data, Six Sigma with all the tools that are available will help you identify where the variability is occurring, how to reduce it, what we can do. We can run a simulation without spending money and actually figure out कि क्या होना चाहिए, कैसा होना चाहिए. And then once you are okay that, okay, this looks like the kind of solution that will work for me, then we can actually go and implement it and then bring down the variability and, do this. There are even some simple things. Check your machine calibration, check whether your supplier is being managed better. Management in terms of, are they being told what they need on time? Are they being able to supply on time? And one of the easiest things to do is machine calibration and staff training. Once these two things are done, I'm telling you, a whole lot of your problems will disappear. Other things, obviously, yes, you need to identify, and then you need tools from Six Sigma for doing that.
Right. Can you tell our attendees what are some of the practical tools that a manufacturer can use to improve process efficiency?
Okay, so of course, I mean, I would love to go and work with people because I am a Six Sigma professional, but there are some things that you can do on your own. Okay, just like the example that I gave you, and you do these on your own. Okay, like for example, the most important part of a Six Sigma process is defining your problem. Unless your problem is defined, like the earlier example that I gave you, I want to come early is not a definite problem. I want to come at 8:45 is a defined, definite problem. And then it is easy to find a solution. And one of the things that happens is that a lot of times people start fighting the symptom rather than fighting the root cause. So the easiest thing to do always is to find the root cause. There are various methodologies, but the simplest methodology is called the 5 why. Okay, ask why 5 times to get to the root cause of a problem. So for example, I am unable to come early to office. Why? Because I take 2 hours to get here from the time I get up. Why? Because I have a long morning ritual. Why? Because that relaxes me. Why? Because that's how I am. Maybe at the third why I stop. इससे ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं होने वाला है. And you'll figure that out in your production. So for example, we are having a whole lot of defects. Like the guy that I helped, we are having a whole lot of defects. Why? Because people are not consistently, giving a product. Why are they not giving it? So we went down to the floor and we figured out, okay, this is what is happening. Why is this happening? Okay, this is what is happening. Why is this happening? This is what is happening. And this is what is happening. And we managed to find the root cause. And then when you find the root cause, most times there isn't an elaborate solution. Small changes, one thing from here to there, and that you solve the root cause and everything goes amazing. And that then the whole process comes in line. So it's a very, very practical tool to use, 5 why. There is also something called as Kaizen. Kaizen is what we were talking about before, what James Clear talks about in Atomic Habits. Do a 2 minute version of what you want to do. Small incremental changes, improvement through small incremental changes. And that's really how it works. Small incremental changes have tremendous power. So Kaizen is one of the practical tools that you can use. And these are really simple things to do in life.
How do these approaches reduce cost without compromising product quality?
Now, let me tell you something. Okay, most people, when they look at Six Sigma, there is always a consultant or somebody that they need to hire, or an employee that they need to hire. There's a whole lot of things that they need to do, and say बहुत पैसा खर्चा होने वाला है. Let me tell you what, the reason why people and for some reason this is like, ये quality के बारे में है, ऐसा लोगों के दिमाग में है. Most MSMEs think that ये सब quality के बारे में है. So it is not like that. The whole logic of ISO, Lean and Six Sigma is to give you quality at a reduced cost. Reduced cost is the main thing. Today, if you look at, when we were in school, we were taught that cost price plus selling price is equal to cost price plus profit is equal to selling price. So the variable was selling price. Okay, profit हम decide करेंगे, cost price हम decide करेंगे, and we will decide. The variable was selling price. Today, in today's market, with the competition that we have, selling price is decided by the market. It's not a variable anymore. Okay, cost price is decided by your vendors. So what is variable is profit, and when profit starts going down, you really don't want to do that business anymore. So the logic is keep profit stable, and the variable should be cost. So reduction in cost is the first thing that we want to. Quality of the product in your market is a norm. It is a given. There is no two ways about it. It has to be there, and that is what what happens is when you start eliminating waste, when you start reducing defects, when you start reducing rework, when you have the same kind of product coming in consistently through your process, what really happens is that you reduce the amount of time that you're using, you reduce the amount of resources that you're using, and automatically, because the same thing keeps coming out, your quality is in control. And then what really happens is that your expense goes down and the quality remains better. So through by working smarter, you become a lot more efficient and you have better quality at lesser cost. So these methodologies are designed to reduce cost no matter what happens, keeping the quality same. Nobody looks at reducing quality.
We have an audience question that we would like for you to address, which is, what are the key differences between Lean and Six Sigma, and how do they complement each other in manufacturing?
Oh, that's a really good one. Because a lot of people today keep saying Lean Six Sigma like it is the same thing, and we talked about it before. These are two different methodologies, but they are brother sister. Okay, they are joined together and they work with each other. Lean is primarily about speed and efficiency, reducing waste, ensuring smooth workflow, while Six Sigma is about quality, precision, reduction in variation and defects. Okay, together what they do is they complement each other by ensuring that a manufacturing process is both fast and reliable. Okay, Lean ensures that the steps are efficient. Six Sigma ensures that they're done correctly. And then what results out of this is a process that is completely streamlined, works fast, and has minimal errors. So again, to address the, like what I was saying in the earlier question, your cost goes down, your variation goes down, and your quality goes up. That is the key difference between Lean and Six Sigma. The difference is they are the most compatible things. They're like two gears of a car, and they intermesh with each other. That is how it works.
Can you also tell us, Pankaj, how can these methodologies be used to enhance customer satisfaction in manufacturing?
Oh yeah, in today's world, there's so much competition outside, and people are really smart nowadays. Gone are the days when you could have said that I have. I'll give you a really funny example. My wife buys this oil, sesame oil, Bhagwan ka diya jalane ke liye. She buys this sesame oil. And she told me, hey, I'm getting this one at a really cheap rate. Gone are the days when I would accept it. I now go and read the label and I know that it is mineral oil with the goodness of sesame oil. It's not really sesame oil. So, people have become really smart, and that is because the kind of knowledge that is available outside is really this thing. So the differentiator is being authentic and giving good quality. But India is also a hyper price sensitive market. So lower cost, higher benefit is the norm. Everybody you remember that ad that used to come through, kitna deti hai? It's the first thing that people, and with our country, with so many people around here, with limited resources around, everybody wants to know the value for money that they're asking. It's not a hyper price sensitive market. It's a value for money market. There are people will spend more money if they see more value in your product, which is the reason why माइक्रोमैक्स का फोन भी बिकता है और 2.25 लाख रुपए का किडनी बेच के लोग आईफोन भी खरीदते हैं. Okay, so that's really how it works. So there is value for money. For somebody who buys that phone, there is value for money. There is a value in buying that. So that's what our people are looking for. So by focusing on quality and efficiency, what Lean Six Sigma helps the manufacturers do is they reduce, you can produce high quality products more quickly, more reliably, and at a lesser cost. So you are actually giving your customers value for money. And when you give value for money, this is going to always lead to higher customer satisfaction. When customers receive consistent defect-free products on time, their trust in the manufacturing increases. Their trust in the manufacturer, in that product, in that brand increases. And additionally, by reducing cost and passing on some of those savings, companies can offer better prices, further enhancing customer satisfaction. हम सबसे खुश तभी होते हैं जब हमको बेस्ट चीज डिस्काउंट में मिलती है या लोअर रेट पे मिलती है, एंड कंसिस्टेंटली मिलते हैं. मतलब आज अच्छा मिला, 2 दिन बाद में गया मेरे दोस्त के लिए लेने को तो प्रोडक्ट खराब निकला, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. सो एंड दीज मेथोडोलॉजीज एक्चुअली हेल्प यू डू दैट. दैट इज व्हाट दीज मेथोडोलॉजीज आर फॉर.
Tell us a principle or a very simple question that that's coming to our mind right now, which is what training or skills are necessary for a manufacturing team to implement these kind of approaches effectively?
One of the most important things that you need to train your people for, or the skills that people need to have, is about understanding that your organization needs to grow. And to grow, growth doesn't happen in comfort zone. Okay, that's the first thing that you need to train your people with. That's the mindset that you need to inculcate. That's the culture that you need to have in your organization. The rest of the things are, of course, technical and are required. But if the base of why I am doing this is not ready, people will not want to learn the rest of the things. Now, training in Lean Six Sigma principles is essential for understanding the key concepts like waste reduction or process mapping or statistical analysis. Skills in data analysis or problem solving and change management are also crucial. All of these can be learned. Then these are all big words. People get all hassled. ये सब मैं कहाँ से करूँगा? Believe me, these can be learned. These are not very difficult to learn. I always say if I can do it, anybody can do it. So it's very easy. Teams should also be trained on some specific tools and techniques in Lean Six Sigma, such as using the DMAC process, which is the define, measure, analyze, improve, control process, which I talked about, or to run Six Sigma projects for Kaizen and for continuous improvement. All these skills are very easy to learn. You will find people to teach them. You will find people who can train you on these. You will find videos on the internet that gives you information about this. But the basic skill that is necessary for a manufacturing team to effectively implement these approaches is the culture of moving ahead, the culture of improving, and the culture of understanding that where I am today, if I need to go to the next level, I need to pick my foot up and take the next step. I cannot stand at one place and expect that मैं ऊपर चला जाएगा automatically. It doesn't happen. Okay, so that culture setting is the most important skill that you need to set up in your organization. Everything else can be taught, honestly.
And how can these principles help adapt to the evolving needs of the manufacturing industry in India?
Let me tell you something that this is one of the biggest reasons. Evolution is one of the biggest reasons why Six Sigma, Lean, and ISO fail in organizations. Organizations make a process and they say, "Abhi yahi follow karo, baki kuch mat karo." But people fail to realize that this process is correct for today. your process, your inputs to your process are not completely in your control. There are circumstances that are completely beyond your control. So, for example, during COVID, the price of the plastic pellets went up by 300%. 300% increase in the raw material for plastic product manufacturers. I have a client who's a plastic product manufacturer, and we were fighting with this for that. And 300% rise in the raw material product. So your circumstance has changed, and it's changed for something which is not in your control. So when systems are built, they have to be built in a way that they are evolving. If systems don't evolve, there'll be entropy. देखो एमएसएमई में लोगों का लॉजिक होता है कि थिंग्स हैव टू बी डन. वन डे यू विल सडनली फाइंड दैट व्हेन यू गो ऑन द फ्लोर दैट थिंग्स आर हैपनिंग बट दे आर नॉट हैपनिंग एज पर द प्रोसेस. एंड दिस इज वेयर मोस्ट owners or most leadership teams make the biggest mistake. They turn around to the person who has broken the process and gone ahead and done something and say ये क्यों ऐसे किया, ये प्रोसेस है, इसको फॉलो करो. You know what you did in effect? You actually killed efficiency. Your process should evolve to include what is happening today. It is happening because some circumstance has changed, and evolution is extremely important. So evolving a process is really important. As manufacturing industry grows and evolves, Lean Six Sigma will actually help you remain competitive by continuously improving your process. Like I said, it's a continual improvement. Plan, do, check, act. Plan, do, check, act. Okay. It will help you reduce the cost, obviously, and maintain high standards. This adaptability is crucial in the fast-paced market that we are today, where customer expectations, technological advancement, and circumstances require manufacturers to be agile and responsive like this. So these are extremely important methodologies if you want to evolve your manufacturing at any given point in time.
Now tell us, how is Lean Six Sigma or ISO beneficial for MSMEs in manufacturing particularly, and how can they overcome the common barriers for implementation?
How are these beneficial to MSMEs? So MSMEs can benefit significantly from Lean Six Sigma, and the easiest and the most common thing to say is because they'll benefit क्योंकि waste reduce हो जाएगा, so process improvement हो जाएगा, पैसा बचेगा, and we've talked about all those things over there. But let me tell you what really is the most important thing about what's happening in the market today. We all know that most companies are now moving to a China plus one policy. The big ones are moving to a China plus one policy. That plus one, thankfully, is looking more and more like it is going to be India. And in a lot of cases, it is India. A lot of businesses are coming to India. And big businesses, European businesses or American businesses or Canadian businesses, when they come to India, they don't do everything on their own. They hire ancillary or auxiliary suppliers so that everything comes to them, and then they probably assemble or check, and then they go ahead and do it. A lot of manufacturing is outsourced. A lot of manufacturing is given out and then brought in. But to do that, and so what happens is all the MSMEs in the market today have these really amazing chance to be a part of this global economy and earn a whole lot of money. But to get into that zone, the first thing that the companies will do is a vendor registration. And when they do a vendor registration, there's this big list of there's a big checklist. If you don't have basic processes in place, if you don't have a culture of continuous improvement, if you don't have a methodology of defect management, if you don't have a methodology of even figuring out क्या हो रहा है आपके यहाँ पे, you're not going to pass that vendor registration checklist, and you're going to lose out. All right. Now, these companies are not going to wait for you forever to come and pass that checklist. They have invested money. Think about it. 1,000-2,000 करोड़ डाल के फॉरेनर यहाँ पे आया है, उसको फर्क नहीं पड़ता है कि I am doing it with Jack or I am doing it with John. He wants it done because his money is invested and they are looking on return on investment. They're losing interest every time there is a delay. So they're going to go to a next supplier who has that. They may probably even pay a little more to get that. All right. So it is great to start today. Today is what you need to do. If you start today, I am pretty sure by the time that flood of people come in over here and are ready to take ancillary suppliers on, you will be ready to join their ranks and be ready to get through this whole vendor registration thing that happens, that big checklist that happens. Now, to overcome these barriers, the most important thing that you need to do, like I was saying before, is to involve employees in the process. Employees need to understand why they are doing what they are doing. Kitna deti hai is in our mind. Value for money is our mind. So tell your employee what is the WIFM, what's in it for me to do this. Most employees do not understand long-term goals. They understand very short-term goals. So for example, if you're going to pay an employee 30,000 rupees for some job, and then you ask him to do that job in a different way, which is going to make him do a little more work, and he's going to earn 30,000 rupees, he's going to say, "Mai kyun karu?" And this is where the first resistance starts. So I'm not saying ki if you're going to implement this, inka pagar badho, but show them that if you implement this, I will be able to reduce cost, I'll be able to get more profit, we'll be able to get more customers. As the company grows, so do you. You can get better appraisals, you can get better positioning, and then that means better salary for you. It's a long-term game for the company and for you. So we need to put this WIFM in place. This is the biggest barrier, and once we cross that barrier, I'm telling you, you can run. So, and of course, you need to provide some basic training for them, so that they understand what needs to be done, how it needs to be done. Karna hai is one thing, kaise karna hai, ye bhi aapko sikhana padega unko. So, building a process of building a culture of continuous improvement is the biggest methodology to overcome barriers for implementation in your organization.
Actually, he just touched upon the question that I had, which was continuous improvement and significance for manufacturers. Can you now tell us what is it that you see as future trends in manufacturing and that could benefit these methodologies? And why should companies prepare them from now on?
Well, future trends in manufacturing today are going to be really, really awesome. It's an exciting time to be in manufacturing right now. I know a lot of people have started saying that manufacturing mein maja nahi aa raha hai. Traditional manufacturing mein maja nahi aa raha hai. Okay, because traditional manufacturing is no longer able to supply high quality products in shorter time on a consistent basis. तो उसके लिए उसमें मजा नहीं आ रहा है, उसमें rework आ रहा है. So that's the future trend. High quality, consistent products with shorter delivery times. What's the easiest way for that to happen? It is going to be automation. Automation is the future. It is going to come in. It has to come in. It will come in no matter what you say. I remember my mom when she was in banks. She used to be in a bank. She used to work in State Bank. I remember a whole lot of people. I remember my mom writing ledgers with her hand. And there used to be something called as day book, which needed to be balanced. And day book was like a dirty desk to be on because रात तक रुकना पड़ता था. Day book balance किए बिना जा नहीं सकते थे. Today, if you look at the day book, that job is completely gone. Because computers have come in, it's a real-time thing. It's happening like this. Nobody worries about day book anymore. And when computers came in, a lot of people said, "Mere ko computer jamega nahi." But the methodology of working over there was very simple. Kuch nahi tha. Ek screen tha, aapko khali data enter karna. It's not like you had to learn programming. It wasn't a lot. It wasn't a lot at all. So when people say automation is going to come in, or when you're going to have a whole lot of automatic manufacturing coming in, that means हमारे job जाएंगे, हम क्या करेंगे? ऐसा नहीं होता है. AI आ रहा है, हमारा job जाएगा. नहीं, ऐसा नहीं होता है. I remember when I was very small, there used to be this whole desk of people which used to have 7 or 8 people in an organization used to definitely be there. उनका काम क्या था? टेलीफोन ऑपरेटर. बॉस बोलता था कनेक्ट ओवर देयर, तो इधर से वायर उधर करते थे, उधर से वायर इधर करते थे. Bigger companies actually had a pool of like 50, 60, 80 people sitting there, big room, doing wires like this. Today, all of that has been replaced by a box this big. It's called the EPA-BX now, right? Did all those people who were doing wires lose jobs and become jobless and sit at home? No, not really. They just evolved. They got better jobs. They went into the call center industry. They became customer service executives. They became front desk officers. Jobs are there. Jobs don't go away. Everything is there. You can go and look back in history. There were people who were saying calculators should be banned because then accountants will be redundant. Are accountants redundant? Absolutely not. They are required. We all need them. So future trends in automation, digitization are going to come through. They will come through. You have to be ready for them. If you're not ready for them, you will not be there. That's as simple as that. Okay, sustainability is another thing that is coming in as more and more people get realize that we have only one planet. We are not able to find the second one, and there is no way. There is no planet B. This is the one that we have to live with. So sustainability is another trend that is coming through. So all of these by using Lean Six Sigma methodologies, you can actually put in automation, digitization, and sustainability in your manufacturing process. As you become more automated and data driven, the need for efficiency and quality control will become even more critical, because that has to come in. Lean Six Sigma provides a structured approach to handle these advancements, ensure that new technologies are integrated effectively without disrupting existing processes. Existing processes will remain, they will change, they will evolve. And this is where that earlier part about evolution that we were talking about. Evolution is extremely important. Preparing for this now allows the companies to stay ahead of the curve and remain competitive in a rapidly changing industry. I can again give you an example of Kodak. They didn't change, they don't exist. And everybody knows this. Kodak was the number one camera company in the world. Today, the number one camera company in the world is iPhone, Apple, and Samsung. That's really the case. It was Nokia at one point in time, because they were selling more phones than anybody else in the world. So Nokia was the biggest camera manufacturing company in the world. Kodak was nowhere to be seen. They didn't pivot. They didn't change. So future trends are coming. Future is always coming. And the future trends are right now written boldly on the wall. It is automation, digitization, and sustainability. These three things have to come into your business, and you can. It's very simple. It's not rocket science at all.
My last question to you, Pankaj, which is a topic which we already sort of covered in brief, but I would like to elaborate on that. Can you discuss with our attendees what is the role of leadership in successfully implementing strategies like these in manufacturing?
That is you know what, in MSMEs, like I said, we have a very flat organization. Generally ऐसा बहुत बड़ा tall organization नहीं होता है कि MD या director जो owner होता है वो यहाँ पे बैठा है. There are 4 levels of managers before you come to the shop floor. ऐसा नहीं होता. Generally there are 2-3 levels of managers at the maximum, and most MSMEs, the owners are very, very grounded. Most of them are second generation, second generation, maybe third generation entrepreneurs. They have grown from the bottom. They have seen it. They know. I know a whole lot of MSME manufacturers जो worker को तू बाजू हट बोल के लेथ मशीन पे खड़े हो सकते हैं. They really have that ability to do that. It's an ability that is phenomenal, and that is what separates the Indian MSMEs from other people. You know, the ability to the ability of the owner to actually go down and rectify anything on the shop floor. It's a fantastic thing. Leaders play an important, very, very important and a crucial role in the success of Lean Six Sigma initiatives. Let me put this in perspective. Most leaders, if you look at these are directors, managing directors in the organization, and the etymology of this word in itself tells you what you really need to do. To direct, to show a direction, to steer people in the right place. That's the job that they have. Let me give you an example of a car. I love cars. I'm a big fan. Okay, Ferrari introduced a new car called the La Ferrari, which was like super exclusive, super expensive. It was only given to people. It's like supposed to be the best car, one of the best sports cars in the world ever. Period. There is no two ways about it. Do you know how many La Ferraris have crashed? About about 20% of the La Ferraris that were given out have crashed, totaled, scrapped. Is LaFerrari a bad car? Absolutely not. Does it have the best engine? Yes, it does. Does it have the best safety system? Yes, it does. Does it have the best tires? Yes, it does. Is the design really evocative? Yes, it is. What went wrong? What went wrong was the person behind the steering did not steer right. That went wrong. That is the job of the leadership team. If you are part of the leadership team, if you're not steering your company right, you may have the best product today, but you will crash into a tree. That's really what happens. That is the role that the leadership team plays in everything. Leaders have to have, again, two huge things that leaders need to have is clarity of what is the vision, what do they want, where do they want to go, and discipline to actually follow the system that they have put in. A lot of MSMEs have this thing, I am not for the system is for me. No sir, that is not how it works. The system is designed to help you take better decisions. If you don't follow the system, nobody will do it. A lot of times people say this, that people always do what you do, not what you say. That's really the case. If you want everybody in your organization to be present at their desk at 9 a.m. and you saunter into the organization at 11:30 a.m., which is what happens a lot of times, do not expect your people to be logged in at 9 a.m. and do not expect them to start working for the first 1 hour, even if they are coming in at 9 a.m. If you expect them to come in at 9 a.m., you need to be there first. Follow, lead by example. We know all this, ये सब मालूम है ये, लेकिन ये करना पड़ता है. You need the discipline to do this. Okay, so leaders set the vision, they provide the necessary resources, and the support that is needed for the initiatives. They create a culture of continuous improvement where employees are empowered to suggest changes. A lot of times, we used to say this in the school, ki we have this gabbas samskruti. If you come and ask somebody, ki why do we do this? So the teacher used to say, gappa basan kar. So gabbas, gab baitho aur karo. Okay, तो ऐसा culture था. But it is not, we cannot live in that culture. People should be able to ask questions to us. Why? And we should be able to answer. Once you tell them this, they will take ownership of the process and you will only be monitoring. So without strong leadership to implement, the Lean Six Sigma initiatives or any initiative, it is going to lose momentum. नया रहेगा, सब लोग करेंगे. After some time, वो साइड में ऐसा पड़ा रहेगा. Somebody will come and ask कि what have you done? Then some file will be taken out. Wow, we have done this. Okay, people will. It will be a failure. Okay, you will not be able to gain buy-in from the people in the organization. You will not be able to gain anything from the people in the organization, and you will never be able to go ahead. And then most MSME owners will turn and say, सब कुछ है रे, लेकिन इंडिया में लोगों को वर्क कल्चर नहीं है. No, it is not like that. It's just that आपने वर्क कल्चर सेट नहीं किया है. आपका ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है. It's not India. You are running one organization. It's your organization. And it reflects of you. It's how you are. If you do something, people will do the same thing back again. They will reflect it back again, and that's really how it works. Most employees are there to earn money. They will earn money by doing what pleases their boss. What pleases their boss is what their boss does. So that's really how it works. So leadership teams play a crucial role. आप ही हो, आपके वजह से ही हो रहा है ये. अगर आप बोलोगे तो ही होने वाला है, अगर आप करोगे तो ही होने वाला है, अगर आप चाहोगे तो सब कुछ होगा, अगर आप कहोगे कर लो तो ना हो. So that's how it works.
with that, we've come towards the end of our episode, Pankaj. It's actually lovely having you because you've shared multiple examples for each of the questions that we asked you. And those were real life examples, so we could relate to that. So thank you so much for being a part of our MSME Masterclass.
Thank you so much for having me here. This was a really amazing experience. I hope people will get value from this and be able to do something really awesome with their businesses. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. So for our attendees, if you'd like to see any of our episodes or if you've missed any part of the current episode, please go on JSW1 MSME on YouTube and you will find this episode along with all the previously shot episodes there. Thank you so much once again, Pankaj. Bye-bye.
Thank you.